one day realizing something that shocked me. I would wake up in the morning and I'd have, quiet time before I went to work, and I'd be drinking coffee and reading the newspaper, and I wasn't there. Where was I? I was at work. I was in fictitious meetings. That, by the way, never happened. And my boss would ask me a question, and I'd come up with a brilliant answer, and I would play this out in my mind because I was thinking about the past and the future. And I realized the vast majority of my day, my body would be right here, my life would be right here, and I was here, or I was here. It was like a light bulb went on. In some part of your lifetime, there's a point where you say, there has to be more to life than what I'm experiencing here. And that's the very moment you start to look for more. The reason you're in this body is to experience that ongoing, that underlying reality of everything, you. Not to think about it, not to read about it, but to actually move into a direct experience of it. It's the same thing with peace and stillness. Taste it, experience it. Stop grinding and thinking on it. You can think about it, and then you're gonna die. Or you can say, how do I bathe in peace and absolute pristine stillness forever? How do I do that? And how do I do it soon? That's your choice.
It wasn't far from here, actually, quite a few years ago, that I was skiing with a bunch of mates back country. It was a beautiful day. We were skiing down a slope. It was just this horrendous explosion. We got caught in an avalanche, and next thing I'm under. The surprising thing was that when I went under, I just had this overwhelming sense of peace. I was aware that I was under the snow, that I was trapped, I couldn't breathe, my legs couldn't move, my arms couldn't move, but there was absolutely no panic. It was like this awareness of this endless ocean of peace and stillness. God knows how long I was in there for, but at some point I was thrust out as if it was on the leading edge of this avalanche. And it was then that the panic kicked in, because I was just trying to suck as much oxygen in as I could, you know. The fear that I'd go back in and the possibility that I could die, just that really cranked up the panic. And I went back under, and after a short time I was thrust out again, and the avalanche had come to an abrupt halt. When I got out, fortunately, everyone else was out as well. When we regrouped, I thought, Man, you know, that was an amazing experience of extended silence and peace. If I could experience that under the snow, surely I could have it in my day-to-day life.
Got a good woman for my soul, got whiskey for my sin. Pray I got both when I leave this bar in a car or a coffin. And I'll ride this road till it takes me home, or I'll ride this dirty road till I die.
In Mexico, teachers like Madavi are introducing a new phase of rehabilitation, teaching ascension in prisons to those who are ready to embrace change.
There ain't one way to sing a song.
And the cool thing is that 25% of the people in this facility, which houses just under 2,000 prisoners, meditate. Because it's something that's not being done very often around the world. So we appreciate your openness to introduce this program into the prison.
My feet are worn, my lungs are hard, and my heart's as cold as steel.
La verdad de las cosas que aquí en el Cerezo de Apodaca, cuando yo llegué, nos encontrábamos en una crisis de seguridad muy complicada, y a base, bueno, de todos los programas de reinserción y el apoyo de la ascensión, nos hemos visto favorecidos. Ahorita el interno se encuentra pacífico y se ve en su rostro, en su personalidad, se ven todos esos logros. En el exterior han sido más humanos. Y bueno, es por voluntad propia. No se los imponemos, es voluntad, y ha sido muy bueno al interior porque todo esto lo van reflejando con los compañeros y cada día más se integran más compañeros de los mismos internos a recibir este tipo de técnicas.
En orden, ya saben las indicaciones.
Sí, señor.
¿Grado?
Sí, señor.
Abra las sendas, por favor.
He querido llevar esta enseñanza a las prisiones porque sé que son lugares donde hay mucho dolor, mucha tristeza. Y a través de una gran amiga que un día me invitó a enseñar a una prisión, descubrí la belleza de encontrar en el interior de cada persona esa divinidad, no importa dónde estén. Cuando yo llegué por primera vez a una cárcel y tuve el primer contacto con el corazón de uno de los presos, dije, su corazón está sufriendo y quieren encontrar paz. Entonces empecé a enseñar en las cárceles. En un momento vamos a cerrar nuestros ojos y a observar el movimiento de nuestra mente. Vamos a observar los pensamientos que fluyen a través de nuestra mente. Así que cierren sus ojos, por favor, y empiecen a observar su mente. Y descansen. La energía, lo que sucedió ahí fue una cosa extraordinaria, porque cada uno de los muchachos tuvo la oportunidad de conectar con esta parte profunda, silenciosa y quieta de sí mismo, y cuando lo hicimos todos juntos, fue una energía fabulosa. ¿Quién va a seguir ascendiendo? Levanten la mano. ¿Quién sí va a seguir ascendiendo? Levanten la mano para que yo los vea.
Remember when I first learned to meditate, the realization of what I'd been doing. I was quite shocked because actually the point at which I learned to meditate, I was grinding my teeth, breaking teeth at night. I never woke up feeling refreshed. I was exhausted. Two relatively young children, trying to be the perfect mother, the perfect housewife, the perfect neighbor, the perfect teacher, the perfect everything, you know. And I used to describe the experience as meeting myself coming back, you know, going round in ever-decreasing circles. I was exhausted. Once I heard the explanation and the background for what meditation is, because really this is the area that meditation addresses, we're living all the time in the past. I recognized how many times I rehashed conversations with people to try and get it right. It's like madness, isn't it? For the last 12, 13 years, I've had cancer. It started as breast cancer. I've had treatment. It's slowly developed. And I now have secondaries in the liver and in my spine. And yet, thanks very much to the meditation skills that I've learned, just being able to accept everything, even something as extreme and challenging as that, has enabled me just to be fully present now. Back to this moment again and again. Really, it's a very simple thing, meditation. It just allows you to live open and allowing in this moment. That has been absolutely key to my being able to live joyfully and peacefully no matter what's happening to the body. You know, my body's going to do what it's going to do. I can take a lot of actions, a lot of strategies to assist it, but ultimately, I'm not in control. And a lot of what we call stress is because we think we're in control and we think we know what's going to happen, and it doesn't, and we find that distressing or frustrating or annoying or painful or whatever because we're resisting what is.
If, for example, you could think of a real wonderful moment in your life, do you remember it? Do you remember how little self-absorption there was in that moment? Do you remember how perfectly it unfolded? That even in retrospect, everything played out in that most wonderful moment in the most miraculous kind of way? That there was nothing about the moment we would change. It was ideal. We very often weren't even responsible for the moment. We were just able to experience the moment. We were present for the unfoldment of that moment. And do you remember how alive that moment was? How alive you felt in that moment? And I will suggest to you, that moment was the most alive moment of your life. And I will say to you, with the exception of the intensity of your most wonderful moment, you're meant to live that kind of life. That alive, with just an absolute sense of wonder and awe That is your right to live that kind of life continuously. And we don't. We just forgot.
Another very key thing, particularly with critical life diagnoses, is that, you face your mortality, maybe for the first time. It does become very obvious that our well-being is created very much by what we put our attention on, and that we have choice. It's empowering, it's exciting. And I can choose what I put my attention on. And that's not about denial. I will do what my body says it needs. That may be going to bed. It may be going to have a massage. It may be going back to the consultant. I mean, who knows, It's not about denial, but it's about knowing that there's so much more. What's going to happen is going to happen. And there's an ease and a fluidity with just accepting everything. Once you recognize that you want something more, it comes. It just comes. I really do believe that.
An authentic path, of which there are very, very few in the world, are those that lead ultimately to oneness, to an unbroken awareness of silence, which is the gateway to enlightenment, the gateway to freedom. I was one of those guys that said, I don't have time to heal me. There's a world's in a dilemma here. Let's get on with helping others. Let's heal the world. And unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, that you have to do the inner work yourself. It basically comes down to two paths. One path is the path of comfort, and it's the path that most humans are on. And it's a path that, if you're looking at a mountain and climbing to the top of the mountain to experience oneness, it's a windy path up this mountain, and it just keeps going and going and going. It's not that it's a bad path, it's just a very long path. There's another path, and it's like walking straight up the side of Mount Everest. And it's called the path of the sages in some traditions. It's also known as the path of heroes. It's the path that says, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to wake up. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Let's do it. Let's bring it on. I want to experience everything. I want to experience wholeness, completeness. The path of comfort, ironically, is not a comfortable path. It's the funniest thing. It's called the path of comfort, not because it's comfortable, because most of humanity's on it and they're not comfortable. It's called the path of comfort because the decisions we make on that path are decisions that we're comfortable with. They don't push us, they don't stretch us. And so it's a comfortable path. But there's no growth in that path. That's why the growth is so slow. There's a point where you say, there has to be more to life than what I'm experiencing here. And that's the very moment that you're very blessed, because you start to look for more. And when you do, very quickly, if you have passion towards that, you start to move towards the path of heroes.
It's amazing. Thanks.
As improbable as it was that I was going to find peace, I was in a cafe and there was a brochure on the wall that was promoting a meditation course. And the brochure said, Ascension as taught by the Ashars of the Bright Path. And I thought, mate, what the hell is this, It's wacky, but what they were saying resonated with me. It resonated with me with the experience I'd had in the avalanche. And it resonated with me, that I realised I needed to find that peace and love within me. The first thing they asked was, what's the one thing that you want more than absolutely anything in life? No one had ever asked me that question, but it was obvious. I wanted peace. I wanted unbroken peace. I wanted to experience love within myself and the ability to love someone else unconditionally. And I wanted to be happy, not just moments of happiness, but I wanted it all the time. And the surprising thing for me was that all the other participants wanted exactly the same thing. The beautiful thing was that all the negative aspects of my life fell away. I was sleeping much better. My frustration and my stress fell away very quickly. And I was able to use these techniques with my eyes open. I'd been given a tool that allowed me to disengage the chatter in my head and reveal peace, and I knew that I was onto the right thing.
Greg suggested that I learn some meditation techniques. Meditation wasn't something I did. I thought it was for hippies and not for me. And I thought, well, there's nothing to lose. I might as well go along and see what this is about. What I found was that I'd been looking for all those wonderful things in life in the wrong places. You know, the person I'm with should make me happy. My job should make me happy. You know, I didn't take any ownership for my own happiness. And once I started to do that and use these techniques to rest inward, that's where I found that it started to reveal the real me. You know, and the real me was happy, was joyous, was, you know, free to live fully. The purpose of us making this documentary is to show people that peace is possible, and very much to show them that it's a personal choice. If peace is possible for the individual, then we want to show that it is possible for a group. And if that's possible, then it could be possible for countries, it could be possible for humanity as a whole.
Había en ocasiones anteriores que era tanta su estrés, su desesperación, que optaban por irse por la puerta falsa. Ahora con las terapias que han recibido por parte de la señora Madavis, ya no son tan agresivos como era antes del curso. En relación a mis elementos, también ha habido una reacción muy positiva, porque es un trabajo donde siempre estamos bajo presión.
Pues ha cambiado mucho en mi expresión de llevar el autocontrol, meditar todo lo que vamos a hacer con tiempo y no llevar nada con coraje para las casas, todo dejarlo aquí, meditar todo eso para que no nos afecte.
Al respecto sobre las familias, opino de que pues sí, llegan estresadas. Nos enseñamos a convivir mejor con la gente, con las familias, ¿verdad? de los internos y sobre todo en la casa. Si estamos bien en casa, estamos bien en el trabajo.
Y después de esto, pues sí, o sea, yo sí he notado un cambio en mi casa, en mi familia también me lo han comentado. Oye, qué bueno, ¿no? Te tomaste tu Dalai por vino.
Es increíble que los compañeros, tanto operativos, quieran participar más y más en esta actividad. es por el contagio de los mismos compañeros que ya recibieron ese beneficio, al igual que los internos que ya recibieron este beneficio se ven de una manera diferente, mejoran su entorno y debido a eso los demás compañeros internos quieren practicar esta técnica. No fue para mí muy difícil acceder a la autorización de mis superiores, toda vez que también coinciden con nosotros de que es mejor para los internos el que lleven este tipo de actividades. Sí, para nosotros es muy positivo porque nos permite mantener la prisión ciertamente con índices muy tranquilos y muy bajos de violencia.
Lo que vamos a hacer ahorita es ascender. Vamos a ascender.
Vivimos en un entorno un poco duro y con mucha presión, mucha disciplina y ahí es donde sientes la diferencia de estar relajado.
Pues he aprendido a valorarme a mí mismo, a querer más a mi familia, a estar tranquilo, en paz, mi interior, a no molestar a los demás, compañeros de celda.
Es un que nos manda Dios, es algo que nos manda Dios para que todos cambiemos y que nos manda. Espero que todos nos cambien las mentes en buenos y no en malos.
Gracias, señor. Gracias por participar.
Gracias, guapo.
Héctor Raúl Pedraza Guerra.
Gracias por participar.
Corazón.
Con un gusto.
Carlos Gerardo.
Lo interesante es que puede ser igual de sencillo para cualquier persona. No hay diferencia entre una persona que está presa o una persona que está aparentemente libre afuera. La verdadera libertad, la libertad interior está al alcance de cualquiera. Y es simplemente encontrar una técnica adecuada. Para mí, la más fácil, la más efectiva y la más rápida ha sido la ascensión de los ishayas. Yo he caminado a lo largo de diferentes técnicas de meditación y todas requerían de mí algo antes de alcanzar la paz. En esta experiencia, con respecto a la ascensión de los ishayas, no se requiere más que utilizar la técnica y entonces inmediatamente esta técnica nos lleva a contactar con la paz interior, con el bienestar interior, con la fuente del amor e inmediatamente se obtienen resultados. Entonces los muchachos que experimentan esto dentro de un cerezo tienen exactamente esta experiencia. Piensan su técnica, descansan en esta paz interior y se empieza a disolver el miedo, la angustia, el resentimiento, los celos, el odio, la violencia y empiezan a vivir en paz inmediatamente.
Tendremos a tomar la actitud y la mente de la persona. Ahora lo noto yo muy tranquilo. Me ha platicado todo del curso, también yo estoy aprendiendo y mejoras todo. Tu vida y tu comunión con los demás, tus relaciones, tu trabajo, todo. Es como algo que hace, como una piedrita que cae en el agua y va haciendo onda, ¿no? O sea, tiene un alcance largo.
Yo llevo durante 10 años recluido, estoy preso 10 años. En 10 años me he atendido con psicólogos, psiquiatras, criminólogos y nunca encontré una salida o una respuesta a mis propios problemas y tener una solución a mi vida. Entonces cuando mis padres se dieron cuenta que hubo un cambio en mi vida, me dijeron, ¿qué es lo que te pasa? ¿Qué estás haciendo? ¿Qué es esto? Les empecé a platicar el programa. Mira, me metí un programa de meditación, esto. De primero me llamaban loco, ¿va? Hoy se ríen y me felicitan, me dicen, mira este cambio. Antes, quizás hoy me ven cambiado y vestido y con gel. Antes no me cambiaba, no me daba gusto ni para verme a mí mismo, para vestirme, para bañarme. La vida no era X, porque yo pensé que cuando llegué a este lugar ya se había acabado mi vida. Pero cuando yo conocí el programa, empecé que mi vida empezaba a cambiar, empecé a ver que aquí no terminó mi vida, al contrario, aquí mi vida empieza a vivir. Me siento tan a gusto porque no tengo palabras para identificar lo que yo siento por dentro, porque es como dijo alguien del dicho del pescado, si no estás bien de aquí, pues todo lo demás no sirve.
Estar en tu mente, adentro de tu conciencia, eres libre, no hay paredes, no hay presión, eres libre, estás en paz.
Aprendes a valorar a las personas, a uno mismo.
Y pues que vean que su vida va a cambiar en realidad, sus nuevos pensamientos, nueva persona, nuevo ser.
También para la maestra Madavi, que fue algo así como que, no sé, como un ángel del cielo, de cuenta que llegó, ¿verdad?
Chis, todos digan chis.
Sí.
Es más, dicen que diciendo coca sale mejor la foto. 1, 2, 3. ¡Coca!
It's been a really powerful and uplifting day for us. Got to meditate with 200 inmates. It's more people than I've ever meditated with. And the stillness and the peace in that facility was palpable as a consequence. The fascinating thing is that everyone on the planet wants exactly the same thing. We all want to experience unbroken peace, inner peace, contentment and happiness. Yet we seldom make it a priority. And I say to people who are not interested in learning to meditate, just spend more time doing what you love doing. Because the things we love doing reveal peace and contentment. All that's required is to make a choice.